I'm going to talk to you about how to handle mock calls or phone simulations. Hi there Ninja! Welcome back to my channel. This is Rhea once again and you're still watching Call Center Ninja. Sharing with you real stories and tips to enjoy and survive your call center lifestyle. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing by clicking the red subscribe button on YouTube down below. A lot of people actually dread or get scared of mock calls. Maybe because it's something new to you or it's something that you haven't tried previously, especially if you're still a newbie to the call center world. But tell you what, you can't avoid a mock call or a phone sim because this is one of the ways for you to practice speaking with or dealing with a customer or for you to practice your call handling skills. And it's going to be the application process of everything. Well, some of you may be subjected to a mock call as early as your job application process. And when you're in training, you will also have several mock calls and phone simulations. So don't be scared of it. Instead, embrace it like it's part of your lifestyle because it is going to be part of your lifestyle. During your job application process, you'll probably be subjected to at least one mock call or phone sim because they would just want to test your ability to speak with a customer or your navigation skills. Let's just say when you're using a computer or how you answer questions, just the basic skills that they need to test. So don't be scared and just embrace it as if it's a part of your lifestyle. And when you're doing it during a job application, your interviewer will give you very limited instructions. So in my case, I was just in a room, in a very cold room for that matter, and the interviewer just showed me a website. It was a travel website, and she asked me to review the website for at least 15 minutes. Some interviewers will give you probably 20 to 30 minutes, but I was just given like 15 minutes to master it. So I just made the most of my 15 minutes trying to familiarize the website. And then after that, somebody called me. So it was not like someone is speaking with me as if he or she is the customer in the same room, but somebody actually called me over the phone. So you might be asking, what is a mock call? It is like acting. So you will act as the agent or the customer service representative, and then someone will call you who will act as a customer. So it's like a role play, and it could be done in two different settings. So sometimes the caller or who is the interviewer will act as the customer, and he or she will just be in front of you and you will be talking face to face and you will do a role play of the customer and the agent. While the other type of setting is like what I have experienced back when I did mine, somebody actually called me over the phone. So it's like speaking to a real customer over the phone. And it really depends on the situation. So you'll just have to make do of whatever you have. Now, one tip that I can tell you is to think as efficiently as you can and base your answers on whatever the interviewer provided you as a guide. In my case, it was a travel website. So all the answers that I answered to my caller were also on that website. So don't overthink. Just provide whatever you can see on your computer, or if it's a paper guide, then provide whatever it is on the paper. And in the event that you cannot find what you're looking for from your computer or your paper, then that is when your common sense comes in. You can probably create a sensible scenario or situation or resolution that will be fit to the customers or the caller's concern. And that is when they can really test your common sense or your initiative. Next is that you have to focus on the scenario or the situation or the concern that was given to you by your caller or your customer. So do not think of any other things. Just focus on that scenario. Since it is understandable that you do not have the client-specific training yet and you are just being tested using general knowledge or your ability to locate information, your ability to answer questions, then do not worry too much about very specific answers because those will come when you're already trained for the job. Just do your best to answer and focus on whatever the caller is asking from you. And finally, answering or handling a mock call is pretty much like handling a real call. Or it's like solving a problem or a concern that needs to be addressed. Remember during grade school, this is actually how I remember it. Back in grade school when we're given a word problem, like Anna went to the market and bought 5 pieces of apples. And then Jose went to the market to buy another 5 pieces of apples. So how many apples are there? It's like solving a problem. You have to have the given, you have to have the questions, and you have to know what the customer is actually looking for. So in most cases, you will be given a basic call flow where sometimes it might be different from the call flow that you will follow when you're already trained for your specific count. But if you're doing the mock call for your job application process, then the basic call flow is going to start with, number 1, your greeting or your opening spiel. Since you're not trained for it yet, then you will just be given a generic spiel. You can say something like, "Thank you for calling ABC Company. My name is Rhea. How can I help you today?" Or you can empathize or apologize if there's a need to do so. So you can say something like, "I am sorry to hear that you've been overcharged for your phone bill, Mr. Smith, and let me go ahead and help you with your concern." So something like that. And then, of course, you have to be able to ask relevant questions or specific questions so that you will get to the point of that call. By that time, your customer has probably already told you what the concern is. So let's just say the concern is, "I want to know why I was overcharged," right? So you have to ask questions. Probably you can ask, what is the account number of, when was the last time the customer paid his or her bill, and where did he pay his bill, or maybe if he or she paid the bill before or after the cutoff time. So those are probing questions or relevant questions that will lead you to the answers. And then once you have asked the questions, you can now take action or perform the necessary solution. So for example, if the customer was indeed overcharged and it wasn't his fault, then probably you can perform a refund. So that's the action that you need to take. You perform a fee refund for that overcharge. The fourth one, which might or might not be needed for your basic call flow since you're just starting, especially if you don't have call center experience, but you might want to add this just so your interviewer knows that you have an initiative or you have that proactive nature to offer to the customer a solution so that that customer can avoid the same problem in the future. So what can you offer to the customer that can help avoid that overcharge in the future? You can advise the customer to pay before the cutoff time or to pay ahead of time if the funds are already on the account, or you can advise the customer to pay at the nearest service centers or areas so that it will be more convenient for him, or maybe to check his balances online. You know, those solutions that can help the customer avoid that same mistake in the future. And after that, lastly, you will have to close the call and ask the customer if there are other concerns that need to be addressed. So you can say something like, "Thank you again for calling, Mr. Customer. Is there anything else I can do for you? Or have I addressed all your concerns today?" And when Mr. Customer says, "Yes, you have. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling ABC Company and have a good day." So those are the basic things that you can say, but when you get to training, you will be trained for more specific options, more specific resolutions for your customers' concerns. Take note that not all the time will you be given a script or a scripted answer. Some companies or some accounts do not have word for word or verbatim scripting. they will let you create your own verbiages or create your own statements to answer to the customer. And that is where your communication and interaction skills will come in. And your ability to think right away what you're going to respond to your customer or how you're going to address that question. So just be prepared for that. And that's all for today.